Hey, what's up? This is very off the cuff, and in fact, it's so off the cuff that I have to re record this because I'm a fucking idiot and I didn't see that my microphone was muted. So you're going to notice that I'm a little heated already, and I might be all over the place. I wanted to make this video because Anthropic, the AI company, recently had a piece of evidence unsealed from a case by order of a judge. This piece of evidence details a memo titled Project Panama. This memo is from April 2024, so it's been going on for a while now. I'm going to read this memo to you word for word, verbatim. Okay? What is Project Panama? Project Panama is our effort to destructively scan all the books in the world. Why use a code name? We use a quote unquote soft code name for it because we don't want it to be known that we are working on this. This document is visible to all Anthropic employees, but you should avoid talking about it in public areas, and the fact that we are working on this should not be shared with anyone outside Anthropic. You may have noticed the title of this video is You Don't Hate Companies Enough. Or You Don't Hate AI Tech Enough. You Don't Hate Tech Bros Enough. Whatever I decide to make this title, you do not hate the people at the top enough. You are not filled with the level of incensed rage that you should be. You are not seething enough. You should be calling for the deaths of thousands of these people at the very top. Because what are they doing? They're destroying human history. They're destroying our history for their own gain, for their own profit, because they have failed. Because AI companies are not and will not be profitable unless they force the use of them, which is what they're trying to do by destroying thousands upon thousands of books that are no longer in print, that were rare to begin with, antiques. What are they doing? Well, you can look this up yourself. They are cutting books at the spine for more efficient scanning of the pages. And then they are turning those pages into pulp. This should enrage you like nothing else in your life before. I want you to think about something. When the Nazis began their book burning, and I want you to think about this very seriously. When the Nazis began their book burning, would you have been one of the loudest voices against it? Would you have been filled with hatred for the actions of the Nazi Party? Would you have chosen to sit in silence, to let it happen because at least they weren't coming for your books? Or would you have celebrated it alongside them? Think about it. Because what is happening now is no less than the modern equivalent of Nazi book burning. Okay? Now you might think that's hyperbolic, and if you do think that, you can go fuck yourself, quite frankly. I'm fucking sick of everybody saying that you can't call them fascists because they're acting like fascists. They're fascists. This is what fascists do. We have documented proof and history of the actions of fascists. The method has only changed. Not the reason and not the end result. Human history is recorded through tons of different mediums. Human art is recorded through tons of different mediums. However, one of the most common and indeed most reliable methods of human historical preservation is books, is the written word. And these fucking ghouls, these monsters, there is no word that is appropriate enough to describe the disdain I feel and that you should feel for people like Sam Altman, for the CEO of Anthropic, whose name I can't currently remember. I actually had it early. I looked it up so that I could say his name. I'm glad I don't remember it. I would rather see him burn at a pyre. For legal reasons, this is not a threat. Just what I would like to see. The French Revolution, when you boil it down, was the bourgeoisie versus the proletariat. That's all it was. The bourgeoisie had resources aplenty, and the proletariat had nothing. What does the world look like now? What does it look like now? What does it look like to you? When you step outside of your home to go to work, to do whatever it is you need to fucking do in this god-awful society, what does the world look like? Do you own your home? Do you own your car? Or are you currently making car payments? Essentially renting your car. Do you even have a car? Or have you been kicked out of society because you can't afford to have a car? Do you make enough money at the place that you work that you spend 40 hours a week at? Depending on how you answered any of those questions, you're a proletariat. There is no other way about it. And if you're some anti-communist dip fuck, congratulations. You're now a communist because you're a proletariat. You don't own the means of production. You don't own the land. Therefore, you are not the bourgeoisie. You exist under the thumb of mentally fucked up individuals who, rather than seeing their own destruction or the destruction of things that they themselves have created, would instead see the destruction of humanity. This is what we live under. We live under tech CEOs who create shell companies to purchase books so that they can cut them at the spine, scan all the pages for their piece of technology that doesn't work the way that they want it to, that doesn't make them enough money, and destroy it at their own whim, because they are above the law, because they can purchase the law. Meanwhile, they tell people who don't know any better, who are too busy trying to survive, that actually socialism is wrong. And yet, everything that a tech CEO does, that a CEO in general of anything does, is socialized. Literally anything. The money that they spend on anything is socialized because that money technically belongs to the people. Because it's taken from banks. Because despite it being against the law, or at least as far as I understand in U.S. law, I am not a U.S. citizen. I am a Canadian citizen. I could be wrong on this, and if I am, definitely comment. But as I understand it, you cannot borrow against the value of your assets. That is, unless you're a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire. Apparently they can. Apparently they borrow constantly against the value of their assets. And that is all they do. That's how they actually have money to spend, is because they borrow against their assets. So they get to enjoy literal social welfare on their part simply because they own assets. Can you? No. You can't take out a $200,000 loan because you own a $400,000 home. That's illegal. Or at least, if it's not illegal, it's not possible for you to do. This is the world we live in, and it is going to get worse if people are not angry enough about it. And nobody is angry enough. I don't care that you're working 80 hours a week. Be angry. Get fucking pissed about everything that is happening, not just around you, but to you, to the people that you love. Look at the lives that your loved ones live. Look at the life that you are forced to live because of the choices of the people above you. You are being suffocated, pressed down on by what I can only describe as the boot of a Nepo baby. And you are not angry enough about it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you're fucking pissed. Because I sure as hell am. And hey, you know what? I'll offer something that you can do against this. Because it's all well and good for somebody to be mad and rant about it on the internet, but nobody really ever offers solutions. Get involved in local politics. I don't care how that looks for you. Go to city council meetings. You know, especially if you're in the US where Flock is appearing in every fucking city that exists. And Flock has links to Palantir. By the way, if you haven't read Lord of the Rings, Palantir is not a good name for a company. That is the most cartoonishly evil fucking thing that they could do. Besides, I guess, cutting the spines off books to more efficiently scan the pages for their piece of shit large language model and then fucking pulping the pages. That is genuinely the most cartoonishly evil shit that we have ever seen in our lives. Get involved in local politics. Go to city council meetings. Express your hatred for things like Flock, for things like surveillance, for things like AI data centers popping up in your neighborhoods, destroying your local ecology, destroying your property values, making your lives more miserable, making you pay higher money to the power company. Because again, these rich ass fucks are living a socialized life that we are paying for. So go to council meetings. Get involved in your local municipality. Become a council member. It's not hard. You can easily sign up to become a council member. You can go to public spaces and you can talk into a megaphone. And hey, maybe people will listen, maybe people won't. But at least you know you'll be doing something other than just letting all of this happen. And on the incredibly off chance that somebody who is incredibly rich has made it to the end of this video, I have to think about how to say this without breaking any rules. You won't be at the top forever. Eventually, everything that you're standing upon is going to come crumbling down. And even if it kills the people below it, you'll die in the fall. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Have a good one.